that this is dangerous and it is illegal. It is a Class A misdemeanor, which is punishable up to a year in jail and also comes with a fine. And just to give you some perspective, in 2015, from 6 p.m. on July the 3rd through 4 a.m. on July the 5th, we responded to 202 calls for service regarding discharge of firearms. Again, this is very dangerous and against the law, and whenever you shoot a gunfire into the air, it's got to land somewhere. Gun safety. With ownership of weapons come responsibilities. Children are out of school, so they're home a lot more. So if you own a firearm, please speak to your children in regards to the dangers of firearms, and also remind them that a gun is not a toy. And even better, we prefer that you child-proof your weapon with a safety device or place them in a gun safe. And I also want to just let you guys know about a new community service website that we are launching. It's HoustonPoliceCommunityEvents.com. You'll be able to see upcoming events, pictures, and verbiage on current events, future events, past events. And our folks do a lot of good work out there. They give home and business safety presentations. They do the run, hide, and fight presentations to various groups. And more recently, they're doing the Turn Around, Don't Drown safety presentations that we talked about yesterday. People can go to this website, find out what we're doing, what services we have, and there's also information there on how you can make contact with our offices and ask for these presentations for your community events. And the last thing I have is technology, some new technology that we're introducing here to the Houston Police Department. Within 30 days or so, we will begin a pilot to 2 new devices that we hope will create a safer environment during vehicular pursuits. The first one I want to talk about is the Star Chase system. This is a GPS tag that is launched from a police vehicle and tags a fleeing vehicle. We're then able, through software, track the location and the movement of this fleeing vehicle in real time on a secure web-based mapping application. We can then track the vehicle via a watch commander and use our officers more strategically while reducing their speeds to apprehend this individual. This pilot will have 8 units, 4 of which we will place in the Southeast Division. The other 4 we will place in the North Division. So within the next 2 weeks, obviously there will be some training, installation of the equipment, policy development, and we hope to have a live date sometime in late August. The second project is the Nighthawk Spike Deployment System. It's a spike deployment system that allows officers to mechanically deploy and retract spike strips devices so that they go out on the street faster and they retract quicker. It can be remotely deployed within a 100-foot range. It's powered by a shotgun shell type charge and is battery powered. We will be testing this device with the gang unit, Southeast as well, and North Division. Training is occurring as we speak, and we hope to have full deployment by late July. Now the Nighthawk Spike Deployment System, we have displayed it on the table just outside. And obviously we cannot deploy the Star Chase. But if anyone's interested, we can do a demonstration at a later date once we're ready to go live with the devices. And with that, that's all I have. Larry Yim is here if you have any additional questions regarding the technology. So with that, do you have any questions?
Mr. Trump's coming tomorrow. That's what everybody is focusing on, it seems like. Can you tell us where the designated protest River Oaks and up in the Woodlands area?
Well, the site here, which is the fundraiser, is going to be off of River Oaks and Del Monte. We do not intend on closing any streets. Traffic will be allowed to move in and out as normal. We will manage the protests, and we are great supporters of freedom of speech and allowing your voice to be heard. But we are going to do it legally, and we will ensure that that occurs.
No designated area for protesters either in River Oaks or up in the Woodlands?
I'm not sure about the Woodlands. That's going to be Montgomery County. But no, we will allow people to protest, within a reasonable distance, and make sure that they don't block any streets or any sidewalks.
Have you heard of any protests that are planned or any groups that are planning to be there?
I have not heard of any specific groups, but they are planning to be there, yes.
Are you planning to have a increased number of officers there, or a usual amount? How many officers do you plan on having out there?
I don't usually give the numbers, but we do plan to have a very visible presence there to ensure that everything is done safely. And as I've stated in the past, there's going to be uniform officers as well as plainclothes officers. So there's going to be officers throughout that location.
Are you concerned that area may end up looking like so many of the other scenes that we've seen on TV from different Trump rallies and Trump events?
Well, we have assurances that the protests will be peaceful. We haven't had those issues in our city. I don't anticipate those issues in our city, and we will ensure that those issues don't occur.
Given what happened in Orlando and the Memorial Day shooting here for us here in Houston, have there been any changes as a direct result of the Memorial Day shooting, mass shooting situation?
Well, anytime there are these horrific type of events, obviously we do go back to our plans and we look at them and make sure that they are solid. And we have made changes to our plans, and we will have more presence, yes.
Can you give any more detail?
I'd rather not, other than you will see a lot of police officers on the day of the parade.
What can you say about the threat that was made on Twitter? We got screenshots that there's now also, that same threat was also made on another dating website. What can you say about that threat?
Well, what I can say is that we take all threats seriously, and we are investigating it, and we have notified, and we are working in conjunction with the FBI. But at this point, I don't, have anything solid in terms of specifics. But as in all threats, you got to take them seriously, and you got to be prepared for them.
Is that something, because we've been getting it, people have been retweeting it to us and all of that. Has anybody sent that directly to the police department?
Yes. Yes, we have. As a matter of fact, yesterday at the vigil, I had several people come up and make sure that I was aware of it. So, which is an important thing that I want to add. The police can't be everywhere all the time. And it's important that people, if they see something or they know something or they think something's suspicious, that they communicate that with us. And we've seen quite an increase of that. So I'm very proud of that. Very happy. Yes.
I've only seen the one. Has there been more than one of these Twitter threats?
Well, what's happening is we're getting additional types of concerning type of tweets and threats, and some of it is valid, some of it is not. But again, even if you think it's not valid, send it to us, and we need to see it.
Any updates on the Josue Flores case? And obviously you have a suspect in custody, but any other developments?
Not that I'm aware of. I know that we're still working with the district attorney's office in terms of the case, but not anything specific, no.
In Chinatown area, there are increased about 29% in robbery cases compared to the previous year. What could be the reasons, do you think?
Actually, when I was looking, because I do look at my numbers on a regular basis, my robberies, at least when I looked at it this week, it's actually down about 1%. But crime in general, especially murders, are up. So I'm up about 6% up in violent crimes.
So in Chinatown area, even for this year, I think this is from the January to May, there's still a big increase. So why is the special robbery increase in that area?
Well, crime in general has gone up nationally. It's not just in the Houston area, and there could be a variety of reasons. It's something that we look at very specifically. We try to drill down into those specific crimes. And what we do is I've made it a point to let the divisional commanders know, because we meet on a regular basis in terms of the crime in the city. But I want them to know and make sure that we enact is it's not just them by themselves in a particular geographic area. We have a lot of resources, investigative resources, plainclothes officers. So we try to attack these problems in a more holistic way in terms of actually thinking them through and developing tactics to address those particular crimes, especially because violent crime is going up, whereas nonviolent crimes such as burglaries and thefts are not going up. We're actually down on those.
Anecdotally, people notice that there is much more violent crime in hot, muggy weather than in winter, certainly not in blizzards. Is the fact that we're having record high overall temperatures a possible contributing factor here?
If I knew those answers, you know, I could make a lot of money and write a book. But I'm sure it does, because obviously when the weather is nicer, people tend to be outside more. And when the weather is hotter, people tend, you know, to be uncomfortable, and maybe tempers can flare. I'm sure all of that has an impact on the rate of crime.
The new technology you highlighted earlier, had that been in the works for a while, or is that in response to, it's really, I guess it's tied to sort of police, police chases. I don't know if it's tied to a change in policy there, or is there a particular reason why this is rolling out?
Well, we're not changing policy per se, because I think we have a very thoughtful and thought-out policy in terms of the responsibilities of the officers and the supervisors that are involved in these type chases. But I think it's also important for, as a police department, that we look at technology, because it does exist. And you can't stay stagnant. You got to always be looking for better ways, safer ways, more efficient ways of doing things. And part of doing that is looking at technology. And I don't know if these devices are going to, you know, work for us in our city, but I want to try. I want to see how effective it is. And this is 2016, and we need to look at technology as being important, an important part of policing.
Yesterday, City Council approved, I think, 3 or 4 Homeland Security grant applications, some of which have direct relationship to the Houston Police and Harris County. Could you talk a little bit about what we're hoping to do with those grants?
Well, one of the ones is Secures Community, which is it's a device that will be able to alert police officers if there is something in the air in regards to maybe nuclear weapons, and there's going to have to be training involved in terms of what to do once that alert is set off. Obviously, it just gives us more knowledge and more information and more responsibility, frankly, in terms of making sure that our community is safe. And a lot of it could be, you know, false positives, and we need to make sure that our officers are trained in terms of knowing what to do if they do get alerts. But again, this is another aspect of technology, where we have to be smarter in terms of what we're using. And since officers are out on the streets, obviously they're the logical choice for these type of devices. But you know, I can't reiterate enough that the eyes and ears of the community are the people that live there, because they know something doesn't look right. They know something doesn't feel right. And I think Homeland Security is a responsibility of everybody, not just the police.
Did the Trump campaign formally notify you all that
We normally work through Secret Service.
So somebody notifies?
Oh, of course, yes. Mm-hmm.
And just curious, does anyone help foot the bill for the extra manpower? Does the Trump campaign or the Clinton campaign, when they come to town, do they help pay for the extra security?
No, I wish. No.
Is there anything new on the man who shot and killed his daughter and wife on Alcade Drive?
I'm not aware of anything new. We could find out for you and get that information back to you.
There isn't yet.
Oh, there isn't.
Is he still speaking with you all, or has he been released?
No charges, released without charges for the time being.
Okay.
Is there a plan to increase the police patrol in the Chinatown area, please?
Well, there's a plan to increase police in general. Hopefully, with the 5 classes that the mayor is giving me this year, and with the promise of an additional 5 classes next year, I hope to gain about 200 officers that we could put out in the streets.
So is there any detailed data?
No, I have no detailed data at this time, but obviously our officers will go where they're needed in terms of calls for services and crime.
Has there been any change in the demographics or anything that would suggest to you why there's been an increase in the robberies and whatnot in the Chinatown area?
Like I said, crime in general is going up, with the exception, I'm looking at robberies right now, we're down about 1%. On those type of crimes, especially on these crew type crimes where there's more than one suspect, we normally worked with our other partners, other agencies. You know, crime is normally happens because of opportunity, and because they have information that there's especially when we're talking about robberies, opportunity, and these individuals knowing that they can easily obtain what they're looking for, which is usually money. And again, that's where vigilance comes in, and that's where some of our programs in terms of how to stay safe, especially the business community, has been using us quite a bit in terms of target hardening their businesses and how they conduct their usual routines.
But you're not aware of any kind of change or anything like that
No.
in the neighborhoods or anything that has contributed to this
No, ma'am.
increase?
Additional Chinese can be easy victims of robbery and other crimes. What do you think could have caused that?
I think I just said, I'm not sure of any specific reason, other than it's crimes of opportunity. And when we encourage business owners to get in touch with us, so where we can help them target harden their businesses, so that they can change some of the way they might do things, so that they won't become victims.
One more question about Trump.
Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure that I'm clear on what you said. So you are not expecting anticipating any type of violence with these protesters, especially despite the scenes that we've seen in cities everywhere across America?
I didn't say that. What I said is I don't anticipate us not being able to handle whatever happens in our city. For the most part, the protesters are saying that they will protest peacefully. And unless shown otherwise, then I'm going to accept that. But we will be prepared in case that does not occur. So we are in communication with these protesters, and you know, one of the things we do is ensure that we all have an understanding of what is the law.
Any sense about how many may show up?
I have no, you know, they always expand on their numbers. You never know. But I'm assuming because it is a Mr. Trump that there will be a number.
What is the law? I mean, I think there's...
Well, obviously anything violent will not be tolerated. If they try to close off streets, that will not be tolerated.
So if they stay on the sidewalk?
If they stay and they protest, you know, we welcome that. You know, everybody, this is America, and we have freedom of speech, and we will protect your right to do that, as long as you do it within the confines of the law and you don't hurt somebody or cause disruption, you know, to to traffic and et cetera, but we want you to protest because that's the foundation of this country. But you have to follow the law.
So sidewalk okay, street not okay?
Yes.
That's sort of the general-
Yes. Okay. Thank you.